Look, I took some flack, and spoiler alert, I said that Tennessee was going to have an Alabama hangover this weekend. I just don't see how you avoid that.
Yeah,
But, history has told us that Josh Heupel's going to have this team prepared and ready to go, and when you look at the schedule, Kentucky and Georgia, that's the floor, that's the 10-2 you're talking about. Outside of that, Tennessee should just go take care of business in the ceiling. Some people say it at the beginning of the year, this team's going 12-0, and you just kind of laugh it off, right?
It's like, they say that every single year.
Right. You hear it every year. People say that. And now here we are at the midway point. And again, I think the toughest part of the schedule is behind us. And it's like 12-0 is a reality. And you can say, I've said all year, I think Georgia's the best football team in the country. People can argue, debate, whatever. It's fine. I think they're a good football team. But Tennessee can realistically go and beat Georgia. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it whatsoever, because that game's going to be huge, and the game right before that with Kentucky is going to be huge. I think Kentucky's a little bit overrated, but still, I catch a lot of flack all the time because I think Kentucky's a solid football program with Mark Stoops, and I still think that. Kentucky's the type of team that'll beat you up if you don't come ready to play. That's why I think the schedule sets up so well, because if there is an Alabama type hangover, and I know what you're saying, man, it's hard to avoid it, right? You're coming off your biggest win in 15 years. We'll see if there actually is one, but if there is, obviously it's understandable. But then if there is one, it's UT Martin. You can afford to not be your best self in a game against an FCS opponent. But obviously that's not going to fly with the coaching staff. But if that is the case, you're lucky that you have UT Martin this week.
Yeah, it almost sets up better for the coaching staff. And look, when I say a hangover against UT Martin, people are getting so mad at me.
You're still going to win by 40, 45 or something. Yeah,
you're still going to take it. You're just going to give up some points. You're going to give up some points. And look, that UT Martin football team, they score some points, and they like to throw the football around. And what's Tennessee's weakness? Pass defense. I think they'll make some plays. Tennessee wins the game. It's never in doubt. We're never nervous. We're never anxious. But it's going to be a good teaching point for this coaching staff when they can go back and watch the tape and say, you got Kentucky coming up this week. This is what you did against UT Martin. We've got better athletes, better talent. You guys have to be better than this, or we're not going to be ready to finish this season. That's just the way I see it playing out. Maybe they come out and just boat race UT Martin right out of the gate like they have. And again, Josh Heupel's history tells us they're going to take care of Ball State and Akron, and they're going to take care of UT Martin. I don't think we have to worry about it, but that's the way I see it.
My favorite quote from Josh Heupel this week, and he said it twice. He said it to us Monday in the media, then he said it on the SEC teleconference on Wednesday. He said the players got a good dose of reality back in that meeting room watching the tape with their position coaches. Obviously, nothing's perfect. Especially defensively, there's a lot to get in there. But I love that mindset. Obviously, you're going to get that mindset from a coaching staff. But, you hear Jalen Hyatt speak. You hear Hendon Hooker speak. You hear Princeton fans speak. You hear Amari Thomas speak. It's just like they want to continue to get better and better each and every week because they know, hey, you just beat Alabama, and there were still a lot of areas in your game to where, gosh, if you would have sharpened up some things here and there, maybe you could have won by a touchdown. Maybe you could have been so much better in that game. I still think this team has not played to its fullest potential defensively for sure, and that's kind of scary for a 6-0 ball club.
Yeah, and it all starts at the top, right? It all starts with Josh Heupel, and even Rodney Garner's the same way. That dude's never happy, which is amazing. No matter what that defensive line unit does, he's never going to give him a ton of praise. He's always going to talk about what they need to fix and get better. And, Josh Heupel, the confidence that he brings, and that's something that I've told this story on my show multiple times this week, but it's just funny because when the scoop and score, right, us as Vol fans, battered Vol syndrome, whatever you want to call it, we all say, well, it was a good effort, but here we go again, another loss to Alabama. And I went upstairs to get a drink, and my wife's like, you think they're going to lose, don't you? And I said, yeah, I do. I do, because that's the way it always happens. And we're going back and forth talking, whatever, and I'm like, all right, I got to get back downstairs. And as I get ready to walk out, I turn around and I say, hold on a second. One last thing. I may not be confident, but there is a guy leading that football team in Josh Heupel that truly believes they are going to win that game after the scoop and score, and that's something that I love. You look at what he did throughout the game, his facial expressions, his actions, the way he carried himself, up 21-7 early. Never batted an eye. Had the same look of focus. The missed extra point by Chase McGrath. That's a moment where you can freak out and panic. Never bats an eye. Under 8 minutes to play. That's when the scoop and score happens. Tied at 42. Alabama takes the lead. Nothing. My favorite moment in that football game was when Alabama missed the field goal with 15 seconds left. Derek Dooley, Butch Jones, Jeremy, they would have all hit their knees and celebrated. Josh Heupel didn't celebrate. He turned and said, all right, here's what we're going to do. He's moving on. The second they missed, he's moving on to what they need to do to go win the football game, and we truly have a leader in Josh Heupel, and that's the difference in this football team.